Okay, everybody, this is my spoiler review of X-Men 97, issue number 1. If you haven't, make sure to check out my brand new review of the new episode of X-Men 97, the show, episode 3, and check out my interview with the voice actress of Storm, Allison Seeley-Smith. It was a really good time, so I hope you see that. So obviously this is a spoiler review, so make sure you read the comic first, unless you want to get spoiled. And I highly suggest, if you're watching the show as well, to watch episode 3 of the show first, then watch this comic, so it's clear why they waited to release this till today when episode 3 came out, because it would kind of give away too much of what we would expect to see in X-Men 97, the show, if you had read this first. So I think it's just smarter to watch episode 3, then read this comic issue. So this was written by Steve Fox, and right away, there's a lot of things they're hinting at, and things you kind of already assumed, but are sort of confirmed in a way. For example, you'll see that just the opening narration, they're talking about the reaction to Professor X dying, but they keep saying it as supposedly dying. And remember, the original show's finale, we saw Professor X was taken by Lilandra, so at some point this season, Professor X is going to come back and be saved by Lilandra. I have no doubt in my mind, or he'll be in some kind of form saved by Lilandra, whether it's astral or his physical form. But this kind of confirmed it for me, just hearing the language written that way. And it's cool because this comic is revolving around a Dazzler memorial concert for Professor X, and it's led into that because Dazzler is kidnapped by Friends of Humanity. Now, I would have preferred maybe a different action sequence to start it for the Friends of Humanity. It's too similar to the action sequence from episode 1 of X-Men 97. But what's cool and clever about it that I liked is that it showed you when Cyclops first meets Valerie Cooper. And what I took away from this is that we meet this agent that's working for Valerie Cooper, who's clearly evil and wants to help the Friends of Humanity, but Wolverine sniffs the scent of that agent and says it's familiar, but he can't quite put who it is. So I'm assuming this is Mystique, and that Mystique is going to be this agent working for Valerie Cooper. Now, we don't know if Valerie Cooper's aware that it's Mystique. I think Valerie Cooper is still good. I just think that there's someone under her as a mole, and it's clearly Mystique. We'll also see things that have already been talked about in X-Men 97, the show, but they're showing the beginning of that, like Jubilee wanting to fly the X-Jet or Blackbird, whatever you want to call it, and Cyclops not letting her. So this is started here in the comic, and that's cool because, it's, again, just seeing it mentioned here, too, confirms to me we'll eventually see her be flying the Blackbird by the end of the season. And we see the beginning of Jean finding out she is pregnant. Or, this is why it's important to watch episode 3 first, and I'm about to spoil episode 3 if you haven't seen it, but that this is actually Madeline Pryor. We also get a nice moment between Storm and Jean, where she's comforting Jean and her problems she's having with Cyclops, because Cyclops isn't really there for her when this is happening. So that is a big part of the story of this comic issue. Now, speaking of Cyclops, we're seeing the first time he's struggling with trying to get adjusted to all this pressure on him now that Professor X is gone. Now he's really got to step up and be a leader. And who is he challenged by the most? Of course, Wolverine, and they butt heads in the Danger Room, which was really cool to see. They butt heads the whole issue, honestly. And it's cool we got to see the Danger Room Magneto. They tease you at the beginning of this comic because they show you fighting him in Times Square, then they reveal it's the Danger Room, but it makes sense because he's in his old outfit, and we see that Danger Room Magneto in episode 1 of X-Men 97 that Roberto da Costa will see. So that was cool that they tied that together. Now, the big thing everyone wanted to talk about was Storm's haircut and what was the reason for it. And the explanation is basically she's getting ready for the Dazzler concert, but it's also part of her saying it's for a new time. It's a new time they're going into. So it's an easy reason. I don't even think they need to give a reason, but that's the reason. It's change. It's a lot of change going on. We also see in this comic issue, Beast is working on Bishop's time travel device, and it's just stuck. It's not working. It's why Bishop is there, and he's stuck. But we don't get much more information about Bishop's story, which I would have liked to see a little more here and what's going on with him. We get some cool moments with Rogue and Gambit more in the action essence of this, and their fight with who shows up is the Nasty Boys at this Dazzler concert for Professor X, which was a cool little action sequence. And you get a lot of cool action moments with Jubilee throughout the episode as well. I always love seeing her fireworks power used, so they're doing that a lot in the show, but they're also doing it in the comic. A lot of Jubilee time, which I love. And it's cool to see the Nasty Boys again. But what's smart about this is they actually set this up that Sinister appears, and he's mad at them. They failed in this attempt to destroy Dazzler and stop this concert. So we see Sinister, and he basically fires the Nasty Boys. And that's the big reveal at the end, because the big reveal is that he's finding a new team, which is the Marauders, and you see also the villain Sienna Blaze on the screen. So this is a huge reveal at the end of this comic, because that means we're definitely going to see them in X-Men 97 and probably not going to see the Nasty Boys in X-Men 97, which I think is okay because they had so much time in the original series. And you also see Sinister mention talking about Jean and having this baby, and he has to go get this baby. It's the future. So that is why you got to watch episode 3 first, because that would have kind of stunk to read that and then kind of take away a lot of the surprises in episode 3. So it leaves on an exciting cliffhanger with him forming this new team. I thought it was enjoyable. I didn't think it was amazing. I'm going to give this one an 8.1. I think it really feels like a behind the scenes of X-Men 97, and it adds to the story in unique and clever ways, but it's still not like really like a game changer either. Like, I don't think it's like terrible if you miss it either. It's like in that like safe zone where it's like, okay, it's just a little extra pulp in there, but I did like that it gave us a nice cliffhanger and little clues to what's going to happen next Monday 7. So I think it's really fun as a companion piece, but as a piece alone, it really is required. You got to watch the show to really enjoy it more. And I think that's the point anyway. That's what's going to draw people in. It's what's drawing me in and excited about it. So I like that they're doing this, and I hope they keep it up. What is interesting, though, is that the second issue doesn't come out next week. It comes out the following Wednesday, and what's even crazier is, so this is a 4-issue series. Issue 3 then comes out after the finale of X-Men 97, so they clearly have to make sure they're not, like, totally messing up the timeline with X-Men 97 and spoiling things they can't for the show, so that's probably why it has a strange release schedule. And then the final 4th one, I don't even think has a release date yet. But it's cool because I'm sure 3 and 4 in this story will set up season 2, because we already know they've basically finished season 2 writing wise and are recording it now. So I enjoy it, though. I suggest reading it if you can. You can get it on Amazon. You can also get it at your comic book store. I just got the digital copy myself, but I'd love to find the physical copy if it's not sold out. But let me know if you read it, what you thought of it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this comic issue, and I'll obviously be doing the rest. And I'm also doing all the X-Men 97 episodes and more X-Men 97 interviews with the cast, so stay tuned for that. So hit that sub button, and I'll see you next time.